Arrival of Hunger, the spaceship. Nova Whisper moved slowly through the dark space. It was a quiet ship, strong and old, carrying 5 human crew members. They had one mission: deliver special food to the royal family of planet Zalara. Captain. Rhea stood at the front window of the ship, looking at the glowing blue planet ahead. She had short black hair, sharp eyes, and a tired look on her face. She had done many missions before, but this one felt different. "We're 5 minutes from landing," said her second-in-command, Leo. He was young, funny, and always chewing something. Rhea nodded. "Let's hope they like spaghetti this time." The crew laughed nervously. Their last delivery had ended badly. The alien leaders on a different planet had found pizza too round and confusing. Planet Zalara was famous for its royal family, especially the princess, Princess Valari. She was known across the galaxy for her beauty, her power, and her mood swings. She had not eaten for 6 days. The Zalarans said she refused everything, even food that glowed or floated. As the ship landed, a group of tall, thin aliens waited outside. Their skin was silver and shiny like liquid metal. They had no mouths, only long fingers and glowing eyes. One of them stepped forward. "Welcome, humans. We hope you brought solutions." Captain Rhea smiled politely. "We brought Earth's best dishes, soup, salad, sweets, even fries." The alien nodded slowly. "Follow. The princess awaits." The palace of Zalara was huge. Tall towers touched the clouds and glowing plants grew everywhere. Inside, everything was quiet. Too quiet, no music, no laughter, just soft lights and heavy footsteps. The crew was taken to a large golden room. At the center was a floating chair. On it sat Princess Valari. She looked young, maybe 17 in human years. Her skin was bright blue with silver patterns like stars. Her long hair floated like it was underwater. Her eyes were half closed, bored and tired. Captain Rhea stepped forward. "Your Highness, we bring you food from Earth. We hope something here can satisfy you." The princess opened her eyes slowly. Let me see." One by one, the crew placed dishes in front of her. Hot buttered toast, chocolate cake, chicken soup, even garlic bread. The princess looked at each plate like it was an insult. "This smells fake," she said. Leo whispered to Rhea. She called garlic bread fake. "That's personal." The princess picked up a spoon, tasted the chocolate cake, and immediately spit it out. "Sweet," she said with disgust. "Too sweet, like lies." She leaned forward and stared at Captain Rhea. "Is this what humans eat, always trying to fill their mouths but never their minds?" Rhea didn't know what to say. "Food gives energy. It keeps us alive." The princess smiled, a cold, strange smile. "That's where humans and Zalarans are different." She stood up slowly and walked toward Rhea. The room went even quieter. "I don't want your food," she whispered. "I want something else." "What do you mean?" Rhea asked, her hand moving toward her weapon. "Just in case." The princess moved closer. "I've tasted every meal in this galaxy. Sweet, bitter, salty, boring. I want something new, something rich." She sniffed the air near Rhea's face. Her eyes lit up. "Your thoughts," she said softly. "That's what I want." Rhea took a step back. "Excuse me?" "Your thoughts, your memories, your emotions. I want to taste what it feels like to be human. I want to eat your pain, your joy, your secrets." The crew looked confused and afraid. "This wasn't in the mission briefing." "You brought food," the princess said, "but not the food I truly need." Suddenly, the walls of the golden room began to glow. Strange patterns moved across the floor. A humming sound started, soft at first, then louder. Rhea shouted, "Everyone back to the ship!" But before they could move, the floor opened beneath them. A soft light pulled Rhea into the air. She floated in front of the princess, helpless. Princess. Valari's eyes now burned like twin suns. You will feed me, she said. Royal disgust. Captain Rhea hung midair, frozen in glowing light. She couldn't move, but she could see everything. The wide eyes of her crew, the cold face of the princess, and the shifting patterns on the walls around them. Princess Valari stepped closer, her silver dress flowing like smoke behind her. You humans think food is just something to chew, but real hunger, true hunger, is much deeper. Rhea's voice trembled. Let us go. We came in peace. The princess laughed softly. That's the problem. Peace tastes bland. With a flick of her finger, the light gently lowered Rhea back onto the floor. The crew rushed toward her, but alien guards stopped them with long, needle-like staffs. You're not prisoners, the princess said. You are guests, until I decide what to do with you. Later, the humans were given rooms inside the palace. Clean, soft beds. Strange, glowing fruits. Walls that changed color based on emotion, but none of them could sleep. Leo paced back and forth. She wants to eat thoughts? That's insane. How do you even chew a memory? Dr. Yuna, the ship's biologist, looked pale. Some alien species feed off emotion. It's rare, dangerous. Some of them go mad because the memories they absorb become their own. Great, Leo muttered. So now we're not just dinner. We're drama-filled dinner. Captain Rhea stared out the window at the stars. Her mind replayed the moment Valari looked at her, not with hunger, but with curiosity, like a child staring at a puzzle. The next day, they were taken back to the Golden Room. This time, the princess was sitting on a high throne. In front of her was a long table, covered in earth food, pasta, burgers, ice cream, sushi, popcorn, more. Garlic bread, but no one dared to bring that up again. Try them, Rhea said, forcing a smile. Maybe something will please you. Valari raised an eyebrow. Do you really think taste comes from the tongue? Taste comes from the memory, from emotion, from story. She picked up a burger, examined it like it was a dead insect, then took a bite. She spit it out instantly. Ugh, this tastes like fear and ketchup, the aliens around her murmured. She picked up the sushi, nibbled, chewed, sadness, and something fishy, boring. One by one, she tasted everything. Each time she found something wrong, not with the food, but with the emotions inside it. This bread was made by a tired machine. This cake was frozen. This soup was stirred by someone thinking of bills and taxes. She pushed the food away. Empty meals, empty hearts. Then she looked at Rhea. You cooked nothing, and yet I smell something strange in you. Something heavy, painful, rich. Rhea swallowed, hard. I've seen war, that's all. Valari's eyes widened slightly. Yes, that's exactly what I want. That night, something worse happened. One of the crew, a quiet man named Harris, was found unconscious in his room. His eyes were open but blank. His mouth moved, whispering old memories like a broken tape. My dog, his name was Benny. Rain. There was rain. Dr. Yuna checked him. His brain's intact, but it's like something stole part of his mind. Rhea looked around the room. One of the glowing fruits had bite marks in it, but they weren't human. She's feeding, Rhea said quietly, and now she knows how. In the throne room, Valari stood alone in front of a large mirror, but her reflection didn't look quite right. It flickered, glitched. For a second, her eyes were Rhea's, her hair dark and short. I've tasted human thought now, she whispered. It's messy, loud, but beautiful. She turned to one of her guards. They will all feed me, willingly or not, and once I have enough, I will understand what makes humans so dangerous. The guard asked, what if they fight back? Valari smiled, a sad smile this time. Then I'll taste their fear. And fear, she whispered, is always delicious. Back in their rooms, the crew planned quietly. She's feeding on us slowly, Una said. Memory by memory, she doesn't want to destroy us, not yet. She wants to taste all of us. Leo whispered, what if we give her fake thoughts? Useless memories? Ria's eyes lit up. That might just work. But we'd need something. Strong enough to trick her. Something that feels real. She closed her eyes. Deep in her mind, she thought of her sister. Lost in the war. The one memory she never shared with anyone. The one thing that still hurt. Would she give it up? Could she? Before she could decide, the lights in the room dimmed. A soft voice echoed from the walls. Captain Ria, the princess requests your presence alone. The door opened by itself. Tell me a story, the princess whispered as Ria stepped into the room. Tell me something real, and I promise I'll only take a bite. The craving. The door closed behind Captain Ria with a soft hiss. She was alone now. No crew, no guards, just her and the spoiled, dangerous, and strangely curious Princess Valari. The room was different this time, no throne, no food. Just a glowing white space with smooth walls that pulsed like a heartbeat. Valari stood in the center, barefoot, staring at something invisible in the air. Her blue skin glowed faintly, and her silver hair floated around her like mist. Welcome, she said without turning. You're the first human who came to me willingly. I didn't have much of a choice, Ria muttered. The princess smiled. That's how the best stories start. She turned slowly and held out her hand. Come, I want to know you. Ria didn't move. You want to eat me? Valari's smile faded. No, not your body. That's gross. I want to feel your truth. Just for a moment. I'm not a snack. No, Valari agreed. You're a mirror. That's why I chose you. A low hum filled the room. The walls darkened. Strange shapes floated in the air, like fragments of dreams. A swing. A battlefield. A child's drawing. A hand letting go. Ria recognized them. My memories, she whispered. Valari stepped closer, her voice soft and careful. I can't take anything you don't let me see. This room connects our minds. You're still in control. And if I don't want to share, then we sit here, in silence. Boring silence. Until I start chewing on your crew. Ria clenched her fists. Fine. One memory. One. Valari raised her hand and gently touched Ria's forehead. Light filled the room. Suddenly, Ria was standing in a different place. Not physically, but inside her mind. A ruined battlefield. Smoke. Fire. Bodies. And a girl, her sister, lying on the ground, whispering her name. The pain returned instantly, fresh like a reopened wound. Valari stood beside her, eyes wide. This is sorrow, sharp, bitter, but beautiful. She walked through the memory, touching the burning trees, the dust-covered sky. She loved you. She died for you. You still carry her. Enough, Ria snapped. Valari nodded. I've tasted it. Just a bite. It will stay with me forever. As the memory faded, Ria fell to her knees, gasping. It felt like something had been pulled. Out of her, not stolen, but touched and taken gently. I warned you, she said. It hurts. Valari stood silently. Her eyes had changed. Softer. Sadder. I didn't know, she whispered. I've eaten thousands of thoughts. None of them ever felt real. Back in the palace, the rest of the crew waited anxiously. Harris was still unconscious. Dr. Una had tried every scan. His mind wasn't broken. It was empty, like a house with the lights on but no one home. Leo checked the ship's systems. If we try to launch, they'll shoot us down. Una frowned. We can't leave Ria behind. Leo glanced at Harris. And we can't wait till we all end up like him. Then the lights flickered. A voice echoed through the hall. Come to me, it said. I'm still hungry. Inside the memory chamber, Ria had recovered. Valari sat cross-legged now, looking less like a royal and more like a curious child. I thought I wanted food, she said, but now I know. I want feeling, and yours are stronger than any I've tasted. You're addicted, Rhea said. Yes. Isn't it wonderful? No, Rhea replied. It's dangerous. You'll lose yourself. Valari looked at her hands. Too late. She raised her palm and a burst of light appeared. But it wasn't Rhea's memory. It was hers. A dark tower, a young Valari crying, surrounded by shadows, alone. They called me perfect. But they never hugged. He never told me stories. They fed me knowledge, but not love. That's why I started tasting others. I was starving. Rhea's anger faltered. You don't need to feed anymore, she said. You need to feel your own pain. Valari looked up. Can you teach me how? Rhea hesitated. Only if you stop feeding on my crew. Valari smiled. Deal. But the moment they shook hands, a sharp sound echoed. The walls pulsed violently. Voices screamed through the walls. Not real ones. Memories. Dozens. Hundreds. Leo's laughter. Yuna's fear. Harris's last thought before collapse. Valari's eyes widened. No, I didn't do this. The chamber was out of control. The princess's power had grown. Too fast, too strong. Now even without touching anyone, she was pulling in their memories like a black hole. They're coming to me on their own, she shouted. I can't stop them. Back in the halls, crew members collapsed. The guards screamed in pain, overwhelmed by emotions not their own. Even the palace walls began to bleed images, memories melting like paint down the surface. Rhea grabbed Valari's hand. Shut it down. Focus. I don't know how, she cried. I've never felt this full. If you don't stop, Rhea growled, you won't just lose control. You'll become all of us, and none of yourself. Valari trembled. She closed her eyes. Light poured out of her skin so bright that Rhea had to shield her face, and then silence. The lights dimmed. The room stopped pulsing. Valari collapsed. When she opened her eyes, she looked different, not in body, but in presence. Her voice was quiet. Her glow was dim. I saw everything, she whispered. Your crew, their memories, your world. She looked at Rhea with something close to awe, and maybe guilt. I didn't just taste pain, she said. I tasted hope. Forgiveness, even love. She stood up slowly. And now I crave something else. Rhea frowned. What? Valari smiled. To feel things without stealing them. Just then the palace lights went red. Alarms echoed. An alien voice shouted, Another ship has landed. Unauthorized. It's not human. Rhea's eyes narrowed. Then who is it? Valari looked afraid for the first time. It's my mother, and she doesn't believe in feelings. Tastes like lies. The red lights pulsed through the palace like a heartbeat in panic. Queen Zareth had arrived. The alien guards knelt immediately. Some began shaking, not from fear, but from remembrance. Queen Zareth had the power to extract and erase thoughts just by standing near you. Her presence was like walking into your own funeral. Rhea stood beside Valari as the air grew heavier. What's she like? Rhea asked softly. Valari's answer came like a shiver. She doesn't eat thoughts, she destroys them. Outside, a tall obsidian ship hovered above the landing pad. No lights, no windows, just a shape that didn't reflect light. It looked like a scar across the stars. When the doors opened, a wave of cold swept through the room. Not temperature cold, but emotional silence. A vacuum of feeling. Then she stepped out. Queen Zareth. Tall, sleek and silver like her daughter, but with no softness. Her eyes were empty mirrors. Her mouth never moved, but her voice echoed directly in others' heads. This planet has forgotten its place. The guards bowed so low their heads touched the floor. Valari tried to stand tall, but her knees shook. Mother, I asked them here. I invited the humans. Zareth didn't respond. She simply looked at Rhea, and suddenly Rhea couldn't remember what day it was. They were summoned to the grand hall. The queen sat on a throne made of pure memory stone, a crystal that changes color depending on the thoughts of those around. It stayed black. You fed on humans, Zareth said to Valari. You let their weakness infect you. Valari stepped forward. They're not weak, they feel things fully. That's not a flaw, that's their strength. Zareth turned to Rhea. Is this true? Speak. Rhea didn't answer immediately. She knew this creature could smell lies the way a shark smells blood. So she told the truth, but not all of it. They survive war, loss, heartbreak, and still find ways to dance, to laugh, even to hope. You call it weakness, but I call it terrifying strength. Zareth stared at her for a moment, then turned back to her daughter. You've been infected. Later that night, in a sealed memory chamber, Valari cried for the first time in years. Not from fear, but from clarity. She doesn't just hate humans, Valari whispered. She fears what they can become. Their stories don't die. Their pain becomes art. Their loss becomes strength. Rhea sat beside her. She's right, to fear us. But she'll erase you, Valari said. She'll drain your minds and say it was for peace. Then we lie to her, Rhea said. Valari blinked. She knows when we lie. Then we give her a lie so deep, it tastes real. The plan. They would craft a false memory so strong, so painful, so perfectly human, that even the queen wouldn't know it was fake. A memory that would satisfy her need for control. Rhea volunteered to be the one to carry it. But it has to feel like it really happened, Valari warned. You'll have to live it. I've lived worse, Rhea said, dead serious. In the memory chamber, Valari built the lie, a perfect scene. Rhea holding a child, her own. The child smiles, laughs, then screams, war, smoke, a fall from a ledge, a broken body. A scream Rhea can't forget. The memory ends with her holding her child's toy, a small carved wolf, while the stars burn above. Rhea watched it all unfold inside her own mind. It felt real. It hurt like it was real. She was shaking. Valari touched her shoulder. She'll believe it, even you almost do. Rhea nodded. Good. Now let's feed it to her. The confrontation. Queen Zareth stood in the Hall of Echoes, a room where all truths are recorded. Rhea approached slowly, alone. You wish to prove humanity's strength, Zareth said. I wish to show you what we carry, Rhea answered. Zareth extended her hand and Rhea stepped forward. The queen's mind touched hers like a cold wind, and then the false memory played. Rhea felt it all over again. The child, the fall, the scream, the loss. She cried for real, not because of the lie, but because the pain was real enough to make her grieve something that never existed. When the memory ended, even Queen Zareth was silent. Her throne flickered for the first time, from black to gray. A sign of doubt. This memory, Zareth said quietly. It has weight. Rhea whispered. It's what we carry, every day. But then, Valari burst into the hall. Wait! She was breathing hard. Her hair crackled with psychic static. She lied! Valari shouted. Rhea's heart stopped. What are you doing? She whispered. This was the plan. Valari looked at her mother. She showed you pain. But humans don't just carry pain. She turned to Rhea. Show her what came after. Show her the rest of the lie. Rhea realized what Valari meant. The memory was unfinished, so she let it play. After the child's death, came something new. Rhea alone in the ruins, finding another child, holding them, saving them, becoming something more than a soldier, becoming hope. Queen Zareth watched. Her expression, unchanged, yet her silence was longer than before. You tricked me, she finally said. Rhea stood tall. No, we gave you a taste of something real, even If it never happened, Valari stepped forward. Now ask yourself, Mother, why did it move you if it was fake? Queen Zareth rose from her throne. The floor cracked beneath her bare feet. The walls shimmered. This changes nothing, she said. You will leave. Your crew, your ship, your emotions. And if we don't? Rhea asked. Zareth looked down at her. Then I erase you. Completely. She turned to her daughter. And you, Valari, will forget what it means to feel. The queen walked out, her guards following. Rhea turned to Valari. What now? Valari's eyes glowed with something new. Now, she said, we start a war she won't see coming. The hunger spreads. The Nova Whisper flew away from planet Zilara under heavy silence. The crew was quiet. Captain Rhea stared out the window, hands clenched. Valari, the alien princess turned rebel, sat beside her, her once glowing skin now dim and pale. Queen Zareth had let them leave, but she hadn't forgiven them, and she hadn't forgotten. Rhea gathered the crew in the common room. We're going to Earth, she said, but not to run. Dr. Yuna frowned. To warn them? Rhea shook her head. To prepare them. The Queen won't attack with ships. She'll attack with ideas. With memories, with hunger, Leo laughed nervously. You make it sound like emotions are weapons. Valari looked up. That's because they are. They landed on Luna Base 3, Earth's outer orbit research station. High security, cold metal halls, no-nonsense scientists. But within 48 hours, things started going wrong. It started with a technician named Jules. He accessed a secure memory archive, part of Earth's thought-sharing research. Just one peek. He wanted to see what it felt like to survive drowning. Just curiosity. But he came back the next day. Then again, and again, until he collapsed at his station, whispering, I need a deeper memory. Something raw. Something real. Dr. Yuna ran tests. Brain activity. Abnormal emotion centers. Overloaded. Thought structure. Fractured. He's addicted, she said. But not to a substance. To someone else's pain. Valari's face turned cold. It's starting. Earth's memory tech had been in development for years. Mostly medical. Helping stroke patients recover memories. Helping people refeel happiness after trauma. But after Rhea's memory bomb with the Queen, something in the psychic field had shifted. As if a door had opened. And not just in the palace, across the stars. Like a virus, Valari explained. My kind evolved to feed on memory. We never meant to spread it. But when I connected with Rhea, it was like a seed. Rhea sat alone in her quarters later, staring at a small memory core cube. It held the false memory. The one about the child, the fall, the carved wolf. It wasn't real, but she still missed it. Was that how it started? Not craving truth, but craving feeling. Reports poured in. On Earth, memory-sharing groups went viral. People traded grief like trading cards. Feel what I felt when I lost my dog. Experience my breakup in full 4D. Relive my worst night, I dare you. They called it thought tasting, but it wasn't a game. Some people stopped forming new memories. Some couldn't tell which life was theirs. Some wanted more. Deeper, darker, purer emotion. One man hacked into a locked trauma archive at a hospital. He screamed for 5 hours straight. When asked why, he said, it wasn't the pain. It was the truth. I finally felt something real. Rhea stood before Earth's World Council, her voice steady. This is no longer just a Zalaran problem, she said. This is a species-level threat. We've opened a craving that doesn't care about planets or borders. One of the leaders, Chancellor Miren, looked skeptical. And you brought the alien responsible with you? Valari stood beside Rhea. Her glow was gone, but her presence was still strong. I didn't mean to infect your people, she said. But now that it's started, you have a choice. Starve it, or study it. Back at Luna Base, A new discovery was made. Some humans weren't just consuming memories. They were starting to project them. Jules, the technician, began giving off psychic traces. People near him saw flashes of his past, felt his emotions, tasted his regret. "This isn't addiction anymore," Dr. Yuna said. "It's evolution." Leo leaned in. "You mean we're becoming like them?" "No," Valari said. "You're becoming something worse." Then came the memory black markets, darknet memory files being sold like drugs. The final moment of a soldier's life, $500. Feel what it's like to lose your mother to fire, $200. Regret of a murderer, $1,000. Some were real, some were made up, but designed so well the brain couldn't tell the difference, and soon, neither could the heart. Back aboard Nova Whisper, Rhea locked herself in the memory chamber. Not to feed, not to feel, to test. Valari watched from the outside as Rhea let herself be injected with a false memory. One, designed by Earth's newest AI system, a made-up death, a made-up love, a made-up world. And yet, Rhea cried, she believed it. When she came out, she looked lost. Valari met her eyes. "You understand now." "Yes," Rhea whispered. "If we can't tell what's real anymore, we'll feed on lies until there's nothing left." The Queen knew this. She didn't need to invade Earth. She just needed to wait. Let the humans do it to themselves. Let the craving spread. In a hidden Zalaran lab orbiting a dead moon, Queen Zareth watched Earth's data feeds, humans screaming in thought chambers, memory markets growing, emotional riots. She smiled. "They thought emotion made them strong," she whispered to her guard. "But now they'll drown in it." She raised a glass filled with a swirling silver liquid, concentrated sorrow from a captured rebel. "To hunger," she said, "and to the feast to come." The feast in the fight Earth was burning, not the buildings, not the cities, the minds. Thought riots broke out in over 30 countries, people walking the streets while broadcasting memories unconsciously, children screaming with war flashbacks they never lived, lovers sharing griefs they'd never experienced. Everyone was feeling too much. Some chose silence, putting on memory blockers. Others chose madness. In Luna Base 3, Captain Rhea stood in a secured war room, surrounded by generals, scientists, and exhausted minds. "No missiles. No bombs," she said. "We're not at war with a body. We're at war with a virus of emotion." Dr. Yuna nodded grimly. "It's a pandemic of feeling, and it's spreading faster than light." Rhea looked at Valari, who stood quietly near the corner. "You said your mother didn't feed like others, that she erases. Can she do that remotely?" Valari's face was pale. "Yes. With enough memory energy, she can delete entire cultures, history, identity. She doesn't conquer lands. She erases stories." Rhea clenched her jaw. "Then we stopped the feast." But it was already starting. Above Earth, Queen Zareth's obsidian ship hung like a judgment. Its core pulsed with energy harvested from thousands of minds. Her collection, her feast. Inside her throne chamber, she floated cross-legged, her arms stretched outward. Memories swirled around her like glowing smoke, all from Earth. First kiss. Final goodbye. The scream of a man watching his brother drown. The silence of a woman whose name was never spoken again. These weren't just feelings, they were ammo, and she was about to fire. Meanwhile, Rhea prepared her crew for the final battle, but not with weapons, with memory. "Each of you will carry one core," she said, handing them glowing memory crystals. "Not real ones, fake memories, built by our best AI, designed to confuse and overload her system." Yuna frowned. "We're lying to her?" "No," Rhea said. "We're fighting her, with fiction that feels real." Valari added, "She can't feed on what doesn't belong to you, but if it tastes real, she'll absorb it. And if she swallows enough lies, she'll crack." Leo raised an eyebrow. "We're gonna psychic bomb the psychic queen?" Exactly, Rhea said. With stories. The infiltration. Using a stealth ship masked with emotion nullifiers, the team boarded Zareth's vessel. It was quiet. Too quiet. No alarms, no guards, just corridors full of echoes, voices of people long gone. I should have told her I loved her. Why did I let go? Was it my fault? The deeper they went, the heavier it became, like carrying grief in your lungs. Leo collapsed. I heard my mom's voice. She's alive, but I heard her dying. Valari pulled him up. Those aren't your thoughts, they're echoes. Don't believe anything you feel here. They reached the core chamber, and there she was, Queen Zareth, floating, in a storm of pure memory. She didn't turn to face them. She didn't have to. Her voice struck their minds directly. You bring false gifts, fabricated feelings. Do you think I cannot tell the difference? Rhea stepped forward. No. We think. You taste them anyway. Zareth turned. Her eyes now glowed like twin supernovas. She looked almost human, almost divine. You wish to poison me with lies, she whispered. Then come. Feed me. The battle. Each crew member activated their memory cores. The room exploded with stories. Leo's memory of losing a son in a time loop. Yuna's fabricated memory of curing a plague but letting her brother die. Valari's own designed memory, watching her mother beg her for forgiveness, then vanish. Zareth drank them in. Each one felt real. And that was the trap. Her throne flickered, her skin cracked, just slightly, but like old glass. You poisoned truth with fiction, she whispered. Rhea stepped forward and activated the final memory core. Her child, the carved wolf, the fall. But this time, there was no rescue, no redemption, just endless grief. Zareth screamed. Her voice became static, her form unstable. But then, Zareth did something no one expected. She laughed. You think fiction weakens me? She said. No, fiction is just another kind of truth. Her body reformed, stronger now. You gave me what I lacked, imagination. She raised her hand, and suddenly, Rhea saw flashes of herself, dying, over and over again in different versions, different universes. Valari gasped. She's creating fake realities, projecting them into our minds. Yuna screamed. I don't know which one is real anymore. Zareth was using their own weapon against them, but Rhea stood firm. She took a deep breath, closed her eyes, and remembered something she had never shared, not with Valari, not even herself. A real memory. Small, simple. She was 8, sitting in a burnt-down kitchen, holding a cup of warm water from her mother's hand. No war, no drama, just care. She projected it forward. Quiet love, silent comfort, truth, and it cut through the chaos like a blade of light. Zareth screamed again, but this time, it was weaker. Rhea opened her eyes. You're powerful, Queen, she said. But you've never lived a quiet truth. She stepped forward, eyes glowing now. She wasn't just a captain anymore. She was a memory made flesh. Rhea touched the throne. Valari joined her, linking hands, Yuna, Leo, all of them. Each one projecting one core truth. And Zareth? She couldn't take it, because real memories demand real identity, and she had none. She was erased by truth itself. The throne cracked. Zareth dissolved into light, not screaming this time, but whispering. So this is what it means, to be full, and then she was gone. Valari stood before the ruins of the throne. No crown, no war, just silence. Rhea put a hand on her shoulder. And choice. Back on Earth, the hunger began to fade. Memory sharing was regulated. People learned to feel their own pain again, But deep in space, one small memory core flickered to life. Zareth's whisper remained. Hunger never dies. It just waits for someone else to get curious. A new craving. This is the end of one story and the birth of another. The queen may be gone, but hunger, true hunger, never dies. And Earth will soon discover that the most dangerous craving isn't for food, power, or memories. It's for meaning. 3 months later, Earth, recovered but not the same captain. Rhea sat at a table outside a quiet cafe in New Sydney. Children laughed in the park nearby. People walked, smiled, sipped coffee, lived life. But something was off. They laughed a little too loud, smiled a little too fast, avoided long silences like they were toxic. Dr. Una sat across from her, eyes scanning reports on a transparent tablet. Memory sync rates are down 70%, she said. Addiction control centers are holding. Regulation seems to be working. Seems, Rhea said softly. But, Una sighed. People want more again. Not pain, not sadness, but meaning. They want to feel something bigger, deeper. They miss being haunted. Rhea sipped her drink. No one talks about the queen anymore. They say she died. Did she? Una didn't answer. Above Earth, orbit research ship, Lucid Echo Valari stood at the center of the memory research deck, her hands pressed to a glowing console. She'd chosen to stay. A Zalaran royal turned rebel turned researcher. She wasn't feeding anymore. Not like before. But she was still searching. A human researcher approached. The core you asked for, the one recovered from her throne. Valari turned. What about it? We cracked it open. Inside was a memory, one single unplayed echo. Valari took the chip and connected it to the console. A young girl. Alone. On a throne. Watching stars die. Asking, is this all there is? It wasn't her. It wasn't Rhea. It wasn't Zareth. It was someone else. Valari's skin chilled. This wasn't hers. Meanwhile, in a small town on Earth, a boy named Micah had been different since the psychic storm. Quiet, brilliant, but too still. He sat in his room, drawing in silence. Always the same thing. A starless sky, a black ship, and a throne. His parents thought it was trauma, but when they touched his drawings, they remembered things they'd never lived. A woman's scream, a royal room made of glass and screams, a hunger that wasn't his. Back at Luna Base 3, emergency. Meeting Una burst into the command room. We have a problem. Rhea stood. Talk to me. Una threw a glowing core onto the table. New signal. Same psychic frequency as Zareth. Same emotional density. But the structures, younger. Faster. Valari's voice came through a screen. It's not Zareth, it's offspring. Rhea blinked. What? Valari nodded. Zareth absorbed billions of thoughts. She didn't die. She deposited a seed. Somewhere in the psychic field. And it's growing. Una whispered. What do you mean growing? Valari stared straight into the camera. I mean, we may have just created the galaxy's first true hybrid. A being born of human emotion and Zalaran hunger. Inside the boy's mind. Micah sat alone on a cliff inside his dream. Stars pulsed around him like nerves. A soft voice echoed. Do you feel it, Micah? The need to know? The itch beneath the skin? That's not hunger. That's purpose. He turned. A shape stood there, genderless, faceless, glowing with stories. You are not their child, you are the next story. Micah opened his eyes in the real world, and everything around him changed. The walls bled color, the air shimmered with thoughts. His parents screamed, not in pain, but in recognition. They remembered the day he was born, but they didn't have a child. The global shift begins, People all over the world began reporting visions of the same boy. Same face. Same eyes. Different names. Some saw him in dreams, others while awake. He whispered to them, "Do you want to know what your sadness means?" Some resisted, some followed. And those who followed began changing, able to remember things they'd never experienced, able to feel pain not their own, able to share. Too much. Valari called it the reflection effect. Zareth is dead, she said, but her child will not erase memories. It will amplify them. It will turn feelings into power. Ria's last mission, she visited Micah. Not the child, but the place he was last seen. Empty home, cracked drawings, burnt carpet, psychic trace readings off the charts. Only one phrase left behind on the wall, scratched in with a fingernail. "You fed her. Now I feed them." Ria stood in the silent room, her breath visible in the air. Cold. Valari stood beside her. "What do we do now?" Ria asked. Valari was quiet for a long time. Then she whispered, "We write a better story." In the center of the galaxy, a quiet newborn star pulsed with energy. Floating near it was a small child, Micah, but not a boy. Not anymore. He was a memory, a question, a hunger given form. He smiled softly and looked straight at the stars. "What do you crave?" he whispered.